My name is Andrea Carlson, and I play the horn with the Sioux City Symphony.
How many years have you been playing your instrument?
I've been playing horn for 30 years.
And how many years have you been a member of the Sioux City Symphony?
This is my 10th season with the Sioux City Symphony.
Give the first few words that come to mind when you think of Mahler's Symphony No. 1 in D major.
Intricate, emotionally charged, both powerfully, fragile, and spiritual.
Are there any challenges you face when you're performing this work?
Yes, stamina, both physical and mental stamina, to perform Mahler's piece.
Have you performed Mahler's First Symphony? Let me do that over. Have you performed Mahler's First Symphony before?
I have performed this work 3 times. This will be my 3rd time.
What does an audience member have to gain from a live performance of The Titan?
I hope that the audience can find an emotional connection with this work. Mahler writes it as a symphonic poem originally, and I hope that they can kind of sit back and let go and feel what the music is trying to pull out of them.
My name is Sonia Bundy, and I play the violin.
How many years have you been playing the violin?
I've been playing the violin since I was 7.
And how many years have you been a member of the Sioux City Symphony?
I've been playing with the Sioux City Symphony for 5 years.
Give the first few words that come to mind when you think of Mahler's Symphony No. 1 in D major.
Mahler's First Symphony is rustic, sincere, and gritty.
Are there any challenges you face when you're performing this work?
One of the biggest challenges, I think, is wrapping your head around a piece that's so complex and so simple at the same time.
Have you performed Mahler's First Symphony before?
I've played this symphony a couple times before.
What does an audience member have to gain from a live performance of The Titan?
I think for an audience member, performance would be a raucous and beautiful journey.
My name's Bob Gibson, and I am the principal trumpet player with the Sioux City Symphony.
How many years have you been playing your instrument?
I have been playing my instrument for 45 years, ever since I was in 5th grade.
And how many years have you been a member of the Sioux City Symphony?
I am beginning my 36th season with the Symphony.
Give the first few words that come to mind when you think of Mahler's Symphony No. 1 in D major.
Oh, joy, anxiety, triumph.
Are there any challenges you face when you perform this work?
I would say the biggest challenge in performing Mahler's First Symphony, especially for the brass, is the endurance in the 4th movement. It revisits everything that has been performed earlier, and it really presents a challenge in endurance.
Have you performed Mahler's First Symphony before?
Yes, this is my 3rd time. The first time I performed it, I was actually a college student and played assistant for my teacher, who was the principal trumpet at that time.
What does an audience member have to gain from a live performance of The Titan? A lot of good stuff in there. What does an audience member have to gain from a live performance of The Titan?
The audience will hear joy, excitement, anguish. They will also hear nature. They will hear folk songs. All of this is in the context of a piece composed by a very gifted man who was self-tortured by what the critics thought of him. He was very conflicted by his faith. He had an obsession with death and the afterlife, and you can hear all of those things kind of being manifested in this piece.
My name is Michael Miranda, and I play the cello.
How many years have you been playing your instrument?
I've been playing the cello for over 25 years.
How many years have you been a member of the Sioux City Symphony?
This coming season will be my 15th season with the Sioux City Symphony Orchestra.
Give the first few words that come to mind when you think of Mahler's Symphony No. 1 in D major.
I like to think of this symphony as a classic movie with many subplots to it.
Are there any particular challenges you face when you perform this work?
Clearly, this work is a dynamic and challenging work for the orchestra. Probably the most difficult for the musician is Mahler has an ever-changing character and nature of this work throughout the work, and the musician has to be ready for those changes.
Have you performed Mahler's First Symphony before?
Yes, I have, previously twice.
What does an audience member have to gain from a live performance of the type?
An audience member should view this particular work as a symphonic poem, again with many themes. The first movement opens up with and demonstrates Mahler's love for nature. And I like to think of it as springtime for me, because nature begins to slowly develop its beauty. The second movement is a very upbeat, robust, scherzo-like waltz. And then the third movement, I remember as a kid, has the theme of Three Blind Mice, and the solo cello bass opens up with that. And then we finish off the fourth movement with a bolt of lightning coming out from a black cloud and many feelings within it. And then we majestically finish it off and return back to the reprise of the beginning and Mahler's love for nature.